Well, a mother and her young son were brutally murdered and found in their burned down home in Calumet. Now, a week and a half later, police have the suspected killer behind bars. However, neighbors in the small town say they are still on edge. News 9's Carl Torp has the latest on the investigation from Calumet.
Calumet is a small town, about 500 people, and this place has absolutely been rocked by this case. And it's particularly tough for the police chief out here because he knew Amy and her child.
It's a tough job, especially with having to work something like that, it is.
When Calumet Police Chief Brian Huckabee responded to a fire at this home on June 16th,
everybody knows everybody.
he knew right away it was where 22-year-old Amy Gibbons lived along with her husband and 5-year-old son, Briar.
She was a good mother. She was a good mother. She was a good friend to many. She really was. She was a good person.
Gibbons and Briar were both found dead in the home. OSBI says the 5-year-old died of smoke inhalation, but Amy was killed by blunt force trauma.
We all are in shock.
Police arrested an acquaintance of Gibbons, Derek Posey, in the Tulsa area Tuesday. OSBI says Posey, who worked oil rigs around Calumet, is seen on surveillance using Gibbons' ATM card in El Reno around the same time the 911 call came in for the fire.
I don't even lock my doors, and now I'm freaking out and locking my doors.
Now neighbors are on edge.
You always felt secure in a town like this, and anymore you don't.
And Calumet deals with murder for the first time and as far back as Chief Huckabee can remember.
Things like this aren't supposed to happen here.
Derek Posey has been brought to the Canadian County Jail in El Reno to face charges. In Calumet, Carl Torp, News 9.
And investigators believe Posey also took Gibbons' cell phone, which also helped investigators track Posey to the El Reno ATM on the morning of June 16th.
A man found hiding in Tulsa has been arrested for the murder of a Canadian County mother and her son. OSBI arrested Derek Posey more than a week after the killings. KOCO's Naveen Dhaliwal has the story.
Police tape still surrounds his little house on North Flynn Avenue 10 days after a deadly fire.
It's very unusual. It's a nice, small, quiet town. Everybody knows everybody.
In this quiet town, crimes like this are rare. A mother, Amy Gibbons, and her 5-year-old son dead in this home. Detectives say this man, 30-year-old Derek Posey, killed them both.
Amy Gibbons died from blunt force trauma. Her son, Briar, died from smoke inhalation.
OSBI says he was an acquaintance of Gibbons and worked at a temporary job in a nearby oil field. They don't know the motive, but say after killing the mother, Posey intentionally set the fire. However, investigators still found evidence. OSBI says there were 2 items that led them to Posey. One, a debit card used 10 minutes before the fire, and cell phone records.
Surveillance photographs led us to our suspect, Mr. Posey, and also we determined that Amy's cell phone had been stolen and was tracked moving between Calumet and El Reno where the debit card was used.
OSBI says the phone and debit card weren't found, but detectives are convinced they have their guy. In Calumet, Naveen Dhaliwal, KOCO 5 News.
We're learning more tonight. More tonight about the man who was killed in the Western Hills Mall shooting.
Anthony Alberigi was the manager at that mall. He'd worked there for more than 15 years. CBS 42 News reporter James McConaughey is live in the newsroom now with how people who knew him are handling his tragic death. James?
Sherry, I spoke with several of the people who work at stores inside the mall, and everyone there told me they're going to miss seeing Anthony Alberigi.
I don't know about the word like, but I love the man.
Mika McGee said Alberigi helped her out while she was looking for a job.
When nobody gave me the chance, and when Mr. Anthony gave me that hope and gave me the job, I was really ecstatic and happy, and I was like, yes, I get a chance to prove my skills.
She said that's just the kind of person that he was.
I mean, he really helped out a lot of people.
And store owners and employees inside the mall all said the same thing. Alberigi could be found walking through and around the mall even late into the evening. I'm told he made friends with everyone he met inside and outside the mall.
I shopped at the Aldi as well. I've seen him there many times. He always took the time to talk to the cashiers, share a smile, share a joke.
Jackie Swale lives a couple of doors down from his home in Trussville. She said Alberigi would always go out of his way to be a good neighbor.
Offer to help, bring in the groceries or say hi to the kids, comment on how they're growing.
The mall's just not going to be the same without him.
Now police are still looking for a fourth suspect in that shooting. Live in the newsroom, James McConaughey, CBS 42 News, local coverage.
It's the family of a murder victim asking questions tonight about one of the men charged in his death. They want to know where he is. Only on WVTM 13, Aaron Kelly has been digging into this all week.
Yeah, court records show Rashawn Brown, one of the men accused in the death of Anthony Alberigi outside of Fairfield Mall, is now considered a fugitive. The victim's brother contacted me after he says the family called the district attorney's office in Bessemer here in Alabama to get an update on the case. He thought the public should know what they learned.
I'm very angry about this, and the biggest thing here is that this guy now is out there. He is able to harm others.
Fairfield police say Anthony Alberigi, who managed Western Hills Mall in Fairfield, was caught in the crossfire between two groups shooting each other in February. Court records show a grand jury charged Rashawn Brown in Alberigi's death and that Brown has been out on bond. A filing from last month says Brown appeared to violate an electronic monitoring program, so a judge called for his arrest. The Jefferson County Sheriff's Office confirmed there's an outstanding warrant for Brown. The victim's brother says Brown should have never been released from jail in the first place.
I realize that they are due their day in court, but we also have to use common sense and realize that these people have no regard for the safety or sanctity of human life.
Now, we left a message for the judge. The district attorney's office told me they don't comment on pending cases, and Fairfield's police chief told me he was just made aware of Brown's fugitive status. He hopes he's brought to justice soon and understands how the family feels.
The man accused of terrorizing some of our city's most vulnerable people is now locked up facing charges in 3 murders. Austin Kempker has been following this case for us. He joins us live with the very latest.
Yeah, hey Liz, when BRPD announced that they had gotten their man in this case, there was a real sense of relief that this man was taken off the streets. But maybe more than that relief, there was a sense of pride that investigators were able to work with members of this community to make that arrest.
We have made an arrest.
With those words, and this man, Jeremy Anderson, in jail, all of those who take care of the homeless in Baton Rouge can finally exhale.
I think there's a huge sense of relief.
For several weeks through December, those who called the streets around St. Vincent de Paul home were on edge as 3 people were killed just a block away from each other.
The case is particularly tragic as the victims were part of a community which is often overlooked and vulnerable.
The homicides were quickly connected after bullet casings from each crime scene were determined to be from the same gun. That evidence, paired with a tip and surveillance video from the 3rd murder, led investigators to Anderson's apartment, which was just around the corner from the murder scenes.
Evidence was seized from the residence which linked a suspect to the crimes. During a post-Miranda interview with the suspect, incriminating statements were made, which placed the suspect at the crime scene.
According to BRPD, the handgun used in the murder was recovered when Anderson was arrested. Anderson does have a criminal record. He had several charges for domestic abuse, battery, a simple battery charge, and 2 charges of illegal carrying of a firearm.
This is an ongoing investigation, right? We just made an arrest. So our detectives are still continuing their investigative efforts, but at this time, he is the only person who has been arrested.
But while efforts now turn toward trial, St. Vincent de Paul's Mike Locado is putting focus back on keeping homeless off the streets.
Certainly, today is just tremendous a relief, but that's why I made in my comments, it's never safe to be outside. So as the mayor said, we want to get people in a shelter. We want to provide them case management and get them into permanent housing.
Now, Anderson is charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder. He's also charged with a count of second-degree murder. I spoke with District Attorney Hiller Moore after the announcement this morning. He said he expects that second-degree murder charge to be upgraded to first-degree at some point before this goes to trial.
We have an update tonight.
Police have made an arrest in the attack on an elderly man in Brooklyn. It happened early Monday morning in Midwood, and it was caught on camera. Surveillance video shows the 91-year-old victim taking a seat on a front stoop. A stranger then approaches him asking for money before hitting him in the head with a cane. The victim fought back with his own cane before the suspect then took off with just $4. The victim needed stitches over one of his eyes. And now 45-year-old Raymond Silva is charged with robbery and criminal possession of a weapon.
19-year-old Barrio Johnson and 17-year-old Jonte Washington busted following a robbery at a lemonade stand in Pontiac earlier this week. Police say their friend, who's still on the loose, is the one who actually swiped the money, but Johnson and Washington were arrested as well. Washington charged with assaulting the mother of one of the girls after she ran after them following the robbery. Johnson was arrested for having a marijuana joint in his ear and charged with possession. They've given police the name of their friend who took the money, and police are taking the case very seriously.
This type of behavior won't be put up with. It won't be tolerated. They'll know that the next time they come to a lemonade stand and little young ladies are there selling lemonade, they're either going to purchase as much as they can, or they know that they better walk away.
The four girls, who range in age from just 6 to 9, had set up the lemonade stand at Hollywood and Cornell on Sunday. The three teens walked up. Washington and Johnson paid for lemonade, and then their friend opened up the girls' Mickey Mouse jewelry box where they kept the money.
The guy looked in the jewelry box to see how much money we raised, and he said thanks for the delivery, and he grabbed the jewelry box with all the money in it and took off down the road.
Pontiac police are now working to get a photo of the teen who took the cash and hope to put together a photo lineup for the young victims to identify him.
They are grown men attacking, people that can't protect themselves, and they shouldn't have to be worried about someone robbing them at a lemonade stand. That's just ridiculous.
Police say if the third teen is caught, they hope he faces a charge of strong-armed robbery, which is a felony. In Pontiac, Michael Rosenfield, Channel 7 Action News.
A young man is shot just doing his job. This is his picture. Tonight, we are learning much more about 24-year-old Kyle Fry. He was working behind the counter at this speedway on the north side early this morning when a man shot him twice. But get this, the shooter wasn't after the cash in the drawer. Fox 59's Lindsay Eaton spent some time with that clerk's family this evening. She joins us now live on the north side with more. Lindsay?
Yes, Kyle Fry's family tells me he had just been transferred to this speedway over on 71st a couple months ago. Last night, he was working the late shift on his birthday.
Disturbing surveillance pictures show within seconds a customer becomes a gunman.
Startled that happened.
Just after 1 o'clock Tuesday morning, IMPD says this guy, 26-year-old Terrence Harris, walked into the speedway on 71st. He hung out for a bit by the nachos, chatted with the clerk, and then he left.
A short time after exiting, he re-enters and at that point walks to the clerk and pulls out a revolver and shoots twice, striking the victim in the abdomen and the face.
The shooter didn't want cash, but he did take off with the nachos. Police told us the clerk is 24-year-old Kyle Fry. With 2 gunshot wounds, he was still able to make it to the front door and lock it until help arrived. At this point, detectives believe the shooting was random.
In a sense, in this case, it's really hard to just comprehend that someone just walks right up to a clerk and raises their gun at someone and just shoots him.
Speedway surveillance cameras captured several clear pictures. After they were out in the public, it didn't take long for a tip to come in and for police to arrest Harris.
I just think he has a lot of problems, and he was taking it out on somebody else in the wrong way.
Karen Wamsley walks to this speedway a few times each day.
I'm lost with it. I just never expected it.
Kyle's family told us he is truly a good brother, friend, son, uncle, and human being. I don't know why this senseless act of violence befell him. Thoughts and prayers are much appreciated and needed.
At last check, Fry is still in critical condition. As for the suspect, Terrence Harris, he's facing attempted murder and robbery charges.
Justice will never be served because Kelly will never be coming home.
Tough words spoken by a mother who will never see her daughter alive again. It took a jury mere hours to convict this man, John Wilson Jr., of murder, guilty of all the charges brought against him.
This is a horrific crime, and clearly anyone who is a parent, who's a mother, who's a father, who has teenagers, this crime hits home.
After the verdict, there were tears and hugs for family and friends of the O'Loughlin's. Kelly's dad wrote a prepared statement remembering his child.
We always will remember her infectious smile, her friendship, and her laughter. She enriched the life of all she touched, and we are grateful for the outpouring of support during these 3 years.
Kelly's mom had some words for the people who stood with her.
All the support during the trial. Without you guys, I would not be here where I am today. I'd probably be crawled up in a ball someplace in the house. All I can do is thank you, thank you, thank you.
Wilson Jr.'s defense attorneys tried to convince jurors they had the wrong man, but a hat found inside the O'Loughlin home with his DNA and taunting text messages sent from Kelly's stolen cell phone were part of the mounting evidence that convicted Wilson Jr. Kelly's family and friends embraced the verdict.
An update now to a story I've reported on for a dozen years and a family I've gotten to know well in that time. Kelly O'Loughlin was just 14 years old, a student at Lyons Township High School who loved tennis, camp, and her friends. She was murdered in her home in 2011 by a man who broke in looking to rob the house. After killing Kelly, he used her cell phone to taunt her mom and even continued to do so at trial. Kelly's parents, John and Brenda, have never in a dozen years spoken the name of that man, so we won't now. But today we learned he died in prison at the age of 50. The Illinois Department of Corrections is not releasing his cause of death or saying whether it was of natural causes, only that it's under investigation. Kelly's mom shared the news today and is using it as an opportunity to tell others how her daughter's legacy exemplifies Kelly's middle name, Joy. The Kelly Joy O'Loughlin Foundation has given out $789,000 in college scholarships, built a cabin at Camp Tecumseh, and paid for kids to go there to experience what Kelly loved so much. Her mom writing on Facebook today, "The day has come for Kelly Joy to rest in peace. You may not be here with us physically, but your legacy lives on. Kelly Joy, your light will never be extinguished."
Channel 9 has team coverage. We're digging into what police say was behind this shooting and also looking more into crime in Uptown.
First, we go to our veteran crime reporter, Mark Becker, and some new information about the victim and the suspect.
Yeah, Erica, the shooting actually happened. Let me start here, right here, because we weren't able to get up here yesterday. This is the breezeway going into the epicenter. There apparently was some kind of altercation back down the end of the breezeway there. Several young men, 120, several others, teenagers, got into a fight. Someone fired a shot. They believe that 16-year-old. That shot hit nothing until it went clean across the street here, across College Street, and hit a man walking on the sidewalk over there, a man who had no way of seeing that shot coming. Dr. John Holliday was in town, in fact, here. He is an accomplished scientist, researcher, and entrepreneur here on business when he was shot by what was essentially a stray bullet. What's more puzzling and painful is police say that the young man who fired that shot is only 16 years old. We're told Raheem Chaclet had just come to Charlotte from Georgia, that he brought a stolen gun with him. And when he got into that fight here at the epicenter, he fired that single shot that hit Dr. Holliday. A single shot that reminded us again of how much violence involving teenagers this city has seen this year. We spoke with several local activists here with a group called Project Genesis, who are trying to turn that around.
Should we be surprised that a 16-year-old has a gun and fires a shot in the middle of Charlotte?
Not in this day and time, we should not.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately, we should not.
It's easy to get a gun. Even if you're 16?
Even if you're 16 or younger.
Police just this afternoon also announced that they have charged 3 other young men with the shooting here. One of them, not with the shooting, but with the fight here at the epicenter. One of them is 20 years old. The other 2, just teenagers. Erica?
And we will be praying for Dr. Holliday tonight. Thank you, Mark. Well, what happened yesterday has come as a shock to so many who live, work, and visit Uptown Charlotte. So we wanted to know, just how safe are you in the heart of our city? Anchor Damani Lewis is joining us after digging into some numbers and talking with people who witnessed the chaos out there yesterday. Damani?
Well, Erica, we happened to speak with a woman. She's from Charlotte, but she happened to be here at a hotel when she was evacuated. She came out, and next thing you know, she found herself just surrounded by hundreds of people here, right here on North College Street, just wondering what was going on. Seconds later, a gunshot was fired, and the whole time she was thinking she couldn't believe all of this was happening right here in Uptown. Nestled between the Ritz-Carlton and the Omni Hotel
It was crazy.
are vivid memories from Elizabeth Nicholson. She remembers every detail.
We were actually coming right out of those stairs.
Walking by College and East Trade Street yesterday evening,
We heard shots fired, and apparently it was right here.
Nicholson was one of hundreds evacuated from a nearby conference because of a fire inside Rooster's restaurant. Moments later, she went from witnessing a fire to fearing for her life after police say 16-year-old Raheem Shaklat fired a gun, hitting an innocent bystander.
It could have been anybody, and considering it was a straight bullet, it could have just hit anybody.
Uptown is in fact safe, okay? It's not, this is not about the location.
Charlotte police holding a news conference today, attempting to ease fears after a chaotic day.
Center City is a safe place to work, to live, to bring your family.
Police calling this incident uncommon. Those who live and work near the epicenter calling it unnerving.
It could happen anywhere. It's like a sad thing.
It is, in general, it's a very safe area. Charlotte is a very good city to live in.
Again, this shooting here in Uptown is an isolated incident, but it got us thinking just about what else is happening in the area surrounding the epicenter. So we decided to widen out our search, and here's what police tell us. In the last 5 months, they say they have had 99 assaults. 22 of those assaults were aggravated assaults, and 5 aggravated assaults involving a gun. Now, despite those numbers, those who live and work in Uptown say they still feel safe. Damani Lewis, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
Thank you, Damani. Now, CMPD's Central Division patrols Uptown Charlotte. They're telling us that they have seen an 8% increase in violent crimes so far this year over last year.
Good afternoon, I'm Cheryl Mercedes.
And I'm Greg Merriweather.
A guilty verdict in less than 2 hours. This afternoon, an East Baton Rouge Parish jury convicted Lee Turner on 2 counts of first-degree murder.
Turner now faces the death penalty. He's 25 years old. He's accused and now convicted of killing 2 CarQuest employees. His attorney tells Tana DeQuano his punishment should be life in prison, not death.
2 families leave the courthouse feeling one step closer to justice. The sister of Eddie Gertner and the wife and children of Randy Chaney. Both men employees of CarQuest, helping out at the store on Segan Lane when they were killed during a robbery by a fellow employee, Lee Turner, on March 27, 2011.
This case has always been about the penalty because we knew he confessed from day one. So it was never a case of not guilty. It was always a case of what he would get as a sentence.
Defense attorney Margaret Lagatuda has her attention on getting jurors to give Lee Turner life in prison instead of the penalty under first-degree murder, death. During her closing argument, she told jurors her client is, quote, not an animal that needs to be put down. She says Turner has never been in trouble before, that he never planned to kill the men at the store, although he may have planned to steal. This is not Derek Todd Lee, Lagatuda told them, to which prosecutor Tracy Barbera responded, don't insult these families. This is their Derek Todd Lee. He sure put Eddie and Randy down. The prosecutor told jurors Lee Turner had a plan to kill and steal. That's why he walked into the store with a loaded gun in his pocket. Turner shot Randy Chaney once in the back of the head. Barbera then counted out 7 evidence bags, inside each a bullet removed from Eddie Gertner's body. 4 other bullets passed through his body. Both men dead over $350 that Turner got away with. District Attorney Hiller Moore says his office will not comment on the case until the jury has decided which penalty Turner gets. They're seeking death, but it's possible not all the jurors will agree.
If there's not a unanimous verdict, then a judge will impose a life sentence.
Jurors will begin deciding that phase of the trial tomorrow. Tiana DeQuano, WAFB 9 News.
Turner's attorney that you saw there says he needs to go to Angola for the rest of his life, but not die by lethal injection.
An 11-year-old boy was shot and killed in Dallas early this morning. Good evening, I'm Blake Hansen. Dallas police say a female was also shot and survived. Family members tell Fox 4 the two victims were mother and son. Glen Heights police arrested 30-year-old Jakeith Huntley in connection to that shooting. Fox 4's Peyton Yeager reports.
The 30-year-old suspect now faces a capital murder charge. He's here tonight at the Dallas County Jail. According to online public records, the suspect has faced multiple aggravated assault charges in the last 10+ years.
This kind of stuff doesn't really happen here.
Saturday, people who live in Preston Hollow are left shocked after an 11-year-old boy was shot and killed inside this home off Royal Lane. According to Dallas police, a woman was also shot and survived. Family members confirmed to Fox 4 the injured woman is the boy's mother. Alex Barnes was up late taking care of his newborn son when he heard sirens.
In his nursery, I could see blue lights. Came outside to investigate. It's about 20 cop cars, ambulances, fire trucks, pretty big commotion.
Barnes walked outside to a crime scene. 30-year-old Jakeith Huntley now sits in the Dallas County Jail facing a capital murder charge. Dallas police say around 2:15 Saturday morning, officers responded to the home on Royal Lane and discovered an 11-year-old boy and an adult female had been shot. Investigators say the boy died at the scene. The woman was rushed to a hospital. Detectives identified Huntley as the suspect who had shot the victims. Huntley was later located by Glen Heights police and taken into custody hours later.
Terrifying because it's right across the street.
We were able to speak to a family member through the home's door surveillance camera Saturday afternoon. A woman who identified herself as the 11-year-old's grandmother answered from the hospital. She says her daughter and her grandson were the two victims. The grandmother tells Fox 4 Huntley is her daughter's ex-boyfriend and showed up overnight unexpectedly. She remembers hearing gunshots from a different room in the house. The Dallas County medical examiner identified the 11-year-old boy as Jeremiah Green. Other family members showed up later on Saturday to help clean the inside of the house. Bullet holes and an evidence marker are seen on one of the windows.
The window's directly across from me. Who's to say it couldn't have caught us?
Online records show Huntley already faces an aggravated assault charge out of Denton County for an incident in 2021. Huntley was arrested in 2016 for aggravated assault, also in Denton County. Huntley served 4 years in prison from 2010 to 2014 for aggravated assault in McLennan County. As a new father himself, Barnes says he cannot imagine what his neighbors are feeling.
That terrifying parental instinct kicks in really hard and also allows you to empathize with them on what they could possibly be going through. The only thing that you think of is just protecting your kid 24/7, right?
Neighbors also tell us they see multiple kids playing in the front yard from time to time. Again, we spoke to the victim's family today. At last check, the woman who was shot and survived is still in surgery.
The family of an 11-year-old boy killed this weekend is sharing more about who he was in the last moments of his life. Good evening, I'm Blake Hansen. 11-year-old Jeremiah Green was shot and killed yesterday morning while at his home with his mother. She was also shot and is now recovering in an area hospital. Fox 4's Peyton Yeager spoke with family.
Just a typical kid. He didn't, innocent. Didn't have nothing to do with it.
11-year-old Jeremiah Green was shot and killed inside his Dallas home early Saturday morning, located in the Preston Hollow neighborhood. His mother was also shot. Sunday, the boy's family released this photo to Fox 4 of Jeremiah with his mother, 31-year-old Jocelyn Green, who remains in the hospital.
Kind of like any mother, any parent just wants to know why.
We spoke to Jocelyn Green's brother-in-law, Cameron Hardiman, outside Texas Health Presbyterian. Hardiman says Jocelyn was shot in the hand.
She loved him so much. He was her world.
Dallas police responded to a home off Royal Lane around 2:15 Saturday morning. Inside, investigators found 11-year-old Jeremiah Green and his mother both shot. The 5th grader died at the scene.
Around 2 o'clock, somebody came knocking on the window. and it got, I guess, scared everybody, and then moments later the gunshots went off.
30-year-old Jakeith Huntley sits in the Dallas County Jail facing a capital murder charge. Police say Huntley shot both victims. Shortly after the shooting, Huntley was arrested in Glen Heights. Family members tell Fox 4 Huntley is Jocelyn Green's ex-boyfriend and showed up to the Dallas home unexpectedly and opened fire from outside the window. Hardiman says Jeremiah was scared and his mother was holding him for protection.
When he started banging on the window, he got scared. So she held him like, it's okay, let's go back to bed. And then that's when the gunshots went off.
Overnight video shows nearly a dozen evidence markers outside a front window. And once the sun came up, bullet holes are seen in the blinds. Hardiman, his children, and the 11-year-old's grandfather, Aaron Scott, were all asleep at the house and woke up to gunshots.
Once I really saw what happened, I was, panicking. The first thing, get the rest of the kids out of there.
Huntley has an extensive criminal history. He served a 4-year prison sentence from 2010 to 2014 for aggravated assault. In 2016, Huntley was arrested on a family violence charge in Denton County, but the case was later dismissed. Online records also show Huntley faces an aggravated assault charge out of Denton County for an incident in 2021. Family members had few words about Huntley.
I hope he never sees the light of day ever again.
But Hardiman says Jeremiah was a child with many talents. He loved school, sports, and was always by his mom's side.
Them two were inseparable. Wherever she was, he was there. Wherever he was, she was there.
In Dallas, Peyton Yeager, Fox 4 News.